Hello and welcome to the Superintendent's Perspective. My name is Mario Salinas. I'm the School District Superintendent. Today I'm joined by Board President Miguel Mike Farias. So today's topic for this episode is the Gifted and Talented program in Edinburgh School District.
Very good.
Before you go there, sir, I want to give a update on COVID as we do every week.
Yes, sir.
The numbers are really low. They continue to go on the decline. They've been on the decline since mid-September. Last week we were down to 21 students identified with COVID, 21 out of almost 32,000.
Out of the whole week?
Out of the whole week.
Wow.
Friday we had enrollment, 31,999 students enrolled. We had 21 cases. So
Very good.
we started with almost 100 at the beginning of the year, slowly decline. So it's this week we're also slow. We're at 12. So hopefully, God willing, the pandemic will soon be behind us.
Very good, sir. That's good news.
Yes, it is, and we're awaiting anxiously for the news of getting permission to vaccinate children under 11, 5 to 11. So
Yes, sir.
we can hardly wait for that.
Yes, sir.
At that point, I believe that's when we're really going to put COVID behind us. But nonetheless, we feel that the schools are safe right now. Mm-hmm. Schools are really safe. So our Gifted and Talented program in Edinburgh, the way it works, when children get to kindergarten, enroll in kindergarten, mm-hmm. the school district invites the parents that if they want their children identified for giftedness, we can test them if the parents want to. Teachers can also identify children in their classrooms that show signs of giftedness, and they're also nominated to get tested for the Gifted and Talented program. Now, the Gifted and Talented test, the assessment they take, doesn't necessarily measure whether you can do mathematics or whether you can read really well. It measures other signs of aptitude, of academic aptitude.
Okay.
It looks for signs of leadership ability. Mm-hmm. It looks for signs that the child may have a creative brain. Mm-hmm. It looks for signs where the child may be gifted in let's say mathematics, mm-hmm. or let's say science, or even music. So the Gifted and Talented assessment tries to identify children that may be gifted in certain areas.
Very good.
And so the children take the test, and if they're identified as a gifted child, which about 5 to 6% of our children that take the test are identified as a gifted child. And not only in Edinburgh, in all school districts. Mm-hmm. All school districts in the state of Texas, by Texas Education Code, have to assess their children for giftedness.
Okay.
And the state funds gives you a little bit of money to address those needs.
So when we identify these children, what do we do then with this certain population that is identified?
Mm-hmm. Edinburgh has 4 quadrants. We have the southeast quadrant of our district. Uh-huh. We have 1,000 square miles. The southeast quadrant of our district. We have the southwest quadrant, the northwest quadrant, and the northeast.
Yes, sir.
In the southeast quadrant, we have a campus that is identified as a Gifted and Talented Magnet Campus,
okay.
Jefferson. In the southwest, we have a campus there identified as a Gifted and Talented Magnet Campus, Canterbury.
All right.
And then in the northwest, we have a campus there identified as a Magnet Campus for Giftedness, and that is Norma Linda Treviño.
Right.
And then on the northeast quadrant, Villarreal Elementary is identified as a campus for giftedness in that quadrant, okay. For the schools in that quadrant. So your child attends Escandon, you have an option, you can keep your child in Escandon, or you can send them to Jefferson Elementary, to be with other gifted children.
Okay. So that way they challenge each other. It's more
Yes.
competitive.
Yes.
Okay.
In Edinburgh, if a child is identified as gifted, let's say let's say you have a son that is in kindergarten or first or second, and he takes this test. And in this test, your son is show signs of ability in mathematics or in leadership, in creativeness, in music, different things that the test looks for. We sent the parents a letter informing them that your child has been identified as gifted,
Okay.
and we give you the option. So your child attends Escandon, you have an option, you can keep your child in Escandon, or you can send them to Jefferson Elementary to be with other gifted children.
Okay. So that way they challenge each other. It's more
Yes.
competitive.
Yes.
Okay.
If you can join into the GT program, then instead of being pulled out one-on-one on a different campus or in your own classroom, aside for the servicing of it, you get to be surrounded by kids with the same level of intellect and same abilities in your class all day long.
When you get put with other individuals that are talented, it raises you up. It makes you bring out your A game, and the same can be true for the gifted and talented.
In a regular classroom, you're probably going to have to repeat yourself a lot more. Kids are going to struggle a lot more, and they're going to need a lot more attention and a lot of one-on-one. In your GT classes, the kids kind of get it a little quicker. They will turn around and start explaining it to you right away, and you can actually get more in-depth with it, with any kind of instruction, because your group just kind of lends itself to that. When you have a class full of students that have higher abilities or higher intellect, or maybe they've even just been to different locations and been places, and so they have a larger store of wealth of knowledge, it gets to feed off to the other kids around, and they get to hear about these things going forward. So when you're planning for college readiness and getting into the college, you've already got that background knowledge and background information that you got from your class.
When a teacher is teaching to a class full of gifted children, guess what? The teacher's going to have to up the rigor
Yes, sir. Very true.
of the instruction.
Very true. Very true.
And she's going to have to accelerate the instruction
Yes.
to keep up a room full of gifted children. We went to visit one of the gifted campuses yesterday. You saw the children there.
Oh, yes,
and,
sir.
and what they were doing there. Preparing for presentations, preparing their own lessons, the technologies that they were, how adept they were with the technology.
Our GT program here at Jefferson, like I said earlier, we use the same curriculum as everybody else in the district. Our curriculum writers did an excellent job this summer. But we do take it up a notch. We do challenge our students. It's not star, star, star here. It's more hands-on. We read novels. We do different lab activities with the children. We do research. So it's not always, it ties back to our lesson and it goes into our TEAC. So we do go above and beyond. We do it with all our boys and girls, whether they are labeled GT or not. And I think that that's where our success comes from. That and having all our teachers being trained and having the GT certification.
They're getting all this knowledge at such a young age on creating their own book, doing the whole development of it, and having each other critique the other's work, which is very important, but at a different level. And these were fifth graders.
Well,
These were fifth graders.
that class was a class full of gifted children. That's an example.
Very good.
If you get into a class like that, you can see the advantages of that. But every district that I know of keep the gifted children on campus with a gifted teacher.
Yes.
The idea being that the gifted teacher is going to teach to the regular child, and it's going to differentiate the instruction to the child that is gifted.
Yes, sir.
You see the difference?
Oh, yes. Major difference.
The one that's really getting hurt in this scenario, where you have, because typically 5% of the children are identified as gifted. And so the teacher in a classroom, in most of the school districts,
Actually, One.
1 out of 20.
1 out of 20.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So the child is gifted, and the idea is I'm going to differentiate my instruction to the gifted child.
Yes, sir.
But when you got 19 children that are not gifted, the majority of the instruction is going to be geared to whom?
The 19. So
The
the
19. And who's going to get hurt?
Exactly.
The gifted child.
Yes, sir.
In Edinburgh, we don't do that. We give the option to the parent of taking that child, that gifted child, put them in the classroom like what you saw yesterday.
Yes, sir.
I personally love my GT class. It's really nice and it's kind of like a challenge. In all the different types of works we have to do and the learning, it's just so great.
It's very fun. We do fun activities. We're learning about brackets and parentheses right now. It's fun and challenging.
I like it because we get to do a lot more stuff, like we do a lot of projects, which is really fun, and then we get to test what we can actually do, and then if we can't, our teacher helps us.
My most favorite is science. It's been so interesting. I did want to be an astronaut, like traveling up. I wanted to do an experiments up there. Like what is it like in real life up there?
And the other thing that I saw was they also were on a time limit. They had all these constraints, and they had like 11 minutes and 30 seconds to go to finish their project. So it's very structured, and it's at their level of where they're at, so the kid doesn't get bored.
The Gifted Intelligence Program in Edinburgh is very, very unique.
Very good.
Very unique, unlike any other district that I know of, where we take the gifted child and put them with other gifted children. Everybody in the classroom, every child in that classroom is gifted, and you can see the advantages of that.
Yes, it's good to know
So
too.
the parents out there that have gifted children, if you choose Edinburgh, we're gonna draw the best out of your child by
Very
putting
good.
them with other gifted children when they can compete against each other. For now, this episode comes to a conclusion on this part of the gifted program.
Very good.
Thank you for joining us, and stay healthy and stay safe.